Hi, friends, coming to you from a new location and in a new year. We are in the first week of 2026, which means we are in the first week of dry January for many of you. Now, I have to confess, I am not somebody who does the dry January thing because I live in Boston and it's cold and it's dark. And the last thing I want to do in January is avoid a Guinness or a nice vodka soda. Okay, so you're probably wondering, why am I talking about drinking on a video about negotiation? Truth is, though, drinking and negotiation often go hand in hand. And in fact, in many cultures, they are inextricably linked. So today, I'm going to offer you 3 research-backed strategies on how to think about the use of alcohol while negotiating. Let's go. Okay, so let's get started. In many cultures, negotiation and drinking are really very linked. And not just in the cultures where you might think it's the case, places like Russia or Korea or Scandinavian countries. Now, in those countries, you do a lot of drinking while negotiating. But even in the US context, many business deals occur over meals or in a bar or afterwards while drinking. And there's actually a whole bunch of research on when to use alcohol and when you shouldn't. So tip number 1 is that small amounts of alcohol, particularly in advance of negotiating, can actually be helpful. So this is research that has shown that alcohol actually helps to promote social interaction. It promotes rapport building, and it actually increases cooperative behavior. What that means from a negotiation perspective is in research where folks had 1 or 2 drinks before engaging in a negotiation, they were actually more likely to show pro-social cooperation and land negotiation agreements. So that is the good news for those of you who might be inclined to drink while negotiating. Okay, so before I share tip number 2, let me tease you because tip number 3 is going to be some advice if you fail to follow this next important second tip. Tip number 2 is once the negotiation starts, the drinking needs to stop. So this tip derives from research by Maurice Schweitzer and his colleague Leslie Gomberg. Their research has shown that when you drink during a negotiation, it actually tends to make you have more aggressive behavior. You are less likely to identify value-creating opportunities. So that is to say, even though you're more likely to get a deal, the deal actually leaves value on the table. There's less creativity. Lastly, the research shows that if you're drinking while you're negotiating, there's an increased likelihood you'll make analytical mistakes that will actually hurt you in the negotiation. So even though you might be at that dinner with a colleague or a client and they are pouring the wine and ordering more drinks, it is really important to stick to the seltzer and the Diet Coke so that you don't leave value on the negotiation table. Okay, so this leads to the third piece of advice, because despite our best efforts, every so often we may find ourselves just a little bit more impaired than we expected and still needing to actually close that negotiation deal. And so this piece of advice links to a really important, essential piece of research around preparation and BATNAs. Because the research has shown that when we drink too much, we tend to react more negatively to offers that we see as unfair or unjust. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's great, I should react that way. But here's the rub. Sometimes an offer that is unfair is still better than our BATNA, our best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And the danger is that if you've drank too much, then get an offer that is better than your BATNA, but maybe less than you hoped or less than you think is fair, you may react in a way that as you reject it and actually lose a deal that would have been better than your bet. So practically speaking, what that means is that in advance of that negotiation, I want to do some really good preparation so that I have a good sense of my own BATNA, and that I then make a commitment not to overreact if I hear an offer that is better than my BATNA, even though less than what I might think is fair or just. Last thing I want to offer is a bonus tip here, because it is the case that in certain cultures, so again, Korea, Russia, maybe many Eastern or Scandinavian cultures, but in the US context, in business dealings, in finance, there is a very strong expectation that part of the way we build rapport, part of the way we build relationships is by getting together over drinks, is by partying a bit. And so the advice I want to give you is, how do you balance the cultural expectation of social drinking with the research that says that if you drink during negotiation, you may end up getting suboptimal outcomes and more aggressive behavior? And the advice here is really simple. Number one, if you can, separate the drinking and rapport building from the negotiating. That could be done in any number of ways, right? You may say something like, why don't we get together for drinks tonight, and then tomorrow at 10 we'll meet. Or maybe you make a commitment to yourself that you'll have one drink during the cocktail hour and then turn to Diet Coke or seltzer. So the point is that there is a way to both engage in the social drinking that actually helps promote rapport building, to honor their cultural norm or the business's cultural norm, and still retain the high level of analytical thinking, the creativity, and the good decision making that we know is driven by negotiation without alcohol. So before you go, I've been talking a lot about whether you should be drinking or not. But a question I often get is, well, can I use alcohol with the other side to my advantage? And my guess is that most of us know of some story of, some banker or business person who got the other side so sloshed that then they made all sorts of concessions to get a good deal. And I could appreciate why that actually might feel really attractive, and also want to say that there are major dangers involved with this. Because yes, you might extract a signature late on a Friday night through partying, but if it's a business relationship where you're going to have to work over time, and the other side, when they sober up, realizes they've gotten taken advantage of, the likelihood that that's going to hold in a good way is highly risky. So again, use the alcohol to build some relationship, but then when you're doing the negotiating, don't drink it for yourself and don't push it onto your negotiation counterparties. If you want some more tips to how to succeed in alcohol-free negotiating, be sure to subscribe to this channel and keep on watching the next video. And good luck to all of you who are in a Dry January challenge. Want to be a better negotiator? Watch this next video.